She whispered it with cracked lips, her skin damp from fever. "Uncle, they whisper to me every night." I smiled like it was nothing because she was only 8. Children dream, children imagine. But her eyes weren't playing. They were hollow, bruised with nights of terror. That night, when the hallway clock hit 2:14, I stood outside her door, silent, watching the crack of light beneath it. And I heard it, voices, not hers, not imagined, low, deliberate, as if reciting. I pushed the door, slowly, and what I saw tightened every muscle in my body. A man, kneeling beside her bed. Not a stranger, not an intruder. My brother-in-law, her father. I'd trusted him once. He married my sister with clean promises and sharp suits. He shook my hand at the wedding, called me family, called me brother. He made vows to her and to us. I believed him, because my sister did. But I'd seen him shift over the years. The way he looked at money like prey. The way he spoke to her when he thought no one was listening. The drinking, the gambling, the late-night calls. And now this. Whispering curses into the ear of his own daughter. She stirred in her fever. He leaned closer, lips brushing her ear, words I couldn't fully catch, but I heard enough. "You will obey. You will keep silent." I left the door open only a slit. My hands trembled, but not with fear, with restraint. If I went in then, I'd kill him with my bare hands. The next morning, I said nothing, not to him, not to my sister, not yet. Instead, I began to watch. I noticed how he timed his visits when my sister wasn't home, how my niece's fevers spiked after nights he read her to sleep, how she recoiled when his hand brushed her shoulder. He wasn't just whispering, he was conditioning her, breaking her mind. I needed proof. So I wired a camera behind her nightstand. I told her it was a guardian angel who would watch when I couldn't. She smiled for the first time in weeks. 2 nights later, the footage arrived. He wasn't just whispering, he was feeding her lies, telling her my sister would die if she spoke, that shadows lived inside her, that she was cursed. Psychological torture, drip by drip, turning her childhood into a cell. I didn't rage, I didn't confront, not yet. I planned. First, I made copies. One on a drive in my safe. Another mailed, anonymously, to a lawyer I trusted. A third hidden in my car. Insurance. Then I began to erode him, quietly. I pulled my sister aside one evening, said nothing of demons, only asked, "Do you ever feel watched?" Her eyes flicked. A pause. A swallow. I saw it. The seed of doubt I planted. At work, I whispered rumors. Subtle, believable, about his debts, his shady friends. By the end of the week, his partners questioned his reliability. I baited him into anger at a family dinner, recorded how he snapped at my niece for spilling water. Small evidence, enough to paint a picture. Piece by piece, I constructed the fall. When the trap was ready, I waited until my niece's fever broke. She was pale, but she was listening. I told her, "The voices won't come tonight, I promise," and I meant it. That evening, I invited him for a drink, just us, a brotherly gesture. He accepted, greedy, arrogant. We sat across from each other in his study. I poured his glass full, mine half. He smirked. "You've been quiet lately." I nodded, observing. When the bottle was low, I pulled the drive from my pocket, placed it on the table like a dagger. "What's that?" he asked. "Your end." He laughed until I pressed play. The room filled with his voice, hissing, manipulating, breaking his daughter down. Her small whimpers in the background. His face drained. He reached for the drive. I pulled it back. "This one stays with me," I said. "Another's with my lawyer. Another already out of reach. His hands shook. For the first time, he looked small, pathetic. You'll lose your wife, your child, your reputation, everything you ever used to cover the rot inside you. Unless, I leaned closer, you disappear, quietly, tonight. The next morning, he was gone. No note, no trace, just absence. My sister wept, confused but alive. My niece slept, finally without voices in the dark. The world thinks he abandoned them, ran from debts, from shame, a coward's exit. Only I know the truth. I made him vanish. Not with blood, not with fists, with patience, with silence, with proof. Justice doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers, the same way he once did. Only my whispers rewrote the story. Now, when my niece wakes at night, she calls for me, her voice trembling, but not from fear, from hope. And I sit by her bed, brushing damp hair from her face. "Uncle," she asks, "will the voices ever come back?" I smile, calm, steady. No, because I buried them. And I did. I buried him alive in his own lies, and I sleep better than I have in years.